Hello everyone and welcome to the weekly show where I share some of the most interesting news in gaming. This week we'll talk about PUBG's response to Fortnite on mobile, the announcement of Elder Scrolls Online's new expansion Summerset, post-launch plans for Sea of Thieves, and finally some new details about CD Projekt Red's upcoming new IP, Cyberpunk 2077. This is GameByte. Also, before we get into it, I do want to remind you again that this is going to eventually find its way over to my second channel, Nerd on the Podcast, which is a podcast channel I do with a few friends of mine. If you enjoyed this content and are watching it on Futurevo Plays, definitely head on over to Nerd on the Podcast channel and subscribe, as this show will eventually be transitioning completely over to that channel. Anyways, jumping into the news. First up, as you know, the insanely popular Battle Royale game Fortnite is all the rage right now. The mobile invite codes have been sent out at a pretty decent rate, and people seem to enjoy the mobile version pretty well. Now, of course, it would only be a matter of time until Fortnite's rival PUBG, that's PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds, would also get a mobile version. Well, it's here, but sadly, the mobile version isn't made by the same studio, but rather is a licensed port, and it kinda shows. Fortnite on mobile is still published by Epic and is the same experience on every platform, which sadly isn't the case with PUBG. Although if you were curious how PUBG plays on mobile, you won't have to wait because it's actually available right now. But I have to say, PUBG doesn't really lend itself as well to a mobile experience, at least nowhere near as well as Fortnite does. The good news is that unlike the PC and console versions of the game, this version is free, so you can check it out for yourself. Next up, we have the announcement of the next expansion for Elder Scrolls Online called Summerset. The MMORPG has gotten really good as of late with a very healthy player base, and this next expansion adds even more RPG goodness by taking players to a new location, the stunning home of the High Elves known as Summerset. There's a new threat there, and you are tasked with saving the elves and of course the rest of the world. I have to say the new locations look very stunning, and it's nice to get some more color and life injected into the game. You can pre-order the expansion now as the standalone upgrade or as a complete collection, which includes the entire game. Also, if you're curious about the game itself, you can jump in for free right now and experience the base game, in addition to a prologue quest that sets up the events of Summerset. I'm definitely going to be checking this out myself. The lackluster reviews of the game during its launch kind of kept me away, but the game has grown a lot and is now considered to be one of the best MMORPGs out there. And I do have that Elder Scrolls itch that definitely needs scratching. Summerset is set to release on all platforms on June 5th. Now, on the topic of new content, we got a very insightful discussion with Rare Studios head Craig Duncan by way of an IGN interview this week. The topic was the post-launch path for Sea of Thieves. The game launched this week to high praise and definitely has me and many others hooked on sailing the high seas. I made a video introducing you to Sea of Thieves, including my first impressions of the release game. I'll leave a link down below if you want to check that out. But in that video, I talk about the potential of the game as far as new content being added over time. Well, in the interview with IGN, we learned that Rare plans to nurture this game for many years to come, even throwing out the idea of it lasting over 5 years. They are having internal discussions now with the dedicated Sea of Thieves team to determine how they can sustain the game to keep players in, and also to continue to usher in new players over the coming years. Sadly, no details were divulged, but it's nice to know that a good part of Rare is dedicated to maintaining and building upon the game for years to come. I mean, we got a very refreshingly candid video just 48 hours in where the devs outlined the current issues with the game and hinted at a patch to fix a lot of the issues within the next week, so we can all be rest assured that the team is definitely on it and the game seems to have a pretty bright future. Finally, we move on to the story of the week, which is some new details on CD Projekt Red's hotly anticipated Cyberpunk 2077. I'm super excited for this game. It's hard to believe that it's been almost 5 years since we got this teaser in front of us from the Witcher developers revealing their next franchise. Earlier in the year, we got some new details that confirmed it as a full-fledged RPG, not unlike the Witcher series, and that they plan for this to become a multi-game franchise, even hinting at it arriving in 2019 or 2020, possibly as a cross-generation game releasing on both PS4 and the yet unannounced PS5, which is rumored to be arriving around that time. It was also reported that CD Projekt Red would be showing a gameplay demo to the press behind closed doors during this year's E3. Well, we got some more information this week in reference to the launch details of the game. It seems that at launch, we will be getting a dedicated single-player experience. Company president Adam Kaczynski stated the following during an investor call when they were asked about the multiplayer aspects of Cyberpunk 2077. First of all, we're going to deliver players a huge story-driven role-playing game for a single player, and that was the case for The Witcher 3. As to further extensions of the game, I don't like to comment on that, but I'm not saying that it's not going to be the case because we already said in the past that we wanted our future projects to integrate online components at some point. Personally, I'm very happy that they're dedicating to delivering an awesome single-player experience like The Witcher 3. Multiplayer would be cool, and the setting of the game definitely lends itself to some interesting sandbox concepts, but it's not really something I'm looking for in the game, at least at launch. I enjoyed Witcher 3 thoroughly, and don't really feel like I missed out by not having multiplayer. Anyways, hopefully we will learn a lot more about the game in E3 this June, cause honestly, it's about damn time. Anyways, that brings us to the end of the week's news. Do you currently play ESO? And are you excited for Summerset? Please sell me on this game in the comments below. I might just want to get into it. Also, what do you think about CD Projekt Red considering multiplayer modes for Cyberpunk? Let's discuss. Drop a like if you enjoyed this video, and be sure to subscribe to the channel for much more gaming content coming very soon. Thanks for watching, happy gaming, and I will see you all next time.